Assalamu alaikum students. Open your books at page number 82. It is lesson 3, unit number 16, and the title of the lesson is The Pied Piper of Hamelin. I will read the text first, then I will explain it. The city of Hamelin in the Germany stood on both sides of the river Weser. The city was rich and was surrounded by farmland and orchards. However, there was a problem. There were 10 rats in the city for each human. The rats ate the corn and even ate the food in the houses. To keep it safe from the rats, people had to hang the food from the ceiling on strings. Strings means ropes. The rats ate chickens, eggs, and also the young chicks. Worse, the babies lived in danger because rats used to bite them. So, cradles were usually hung from the ceiling on ropes. Well, students, this lesson is about Hamelin, which is a city in Germany. It is situated on the bank of River Weser. It is a rich city and is surrounded by farmlands and orchards. Right? But it was facing one problem. There were numerous rats, and actually we can say 10 rats for each human. And at times these rats ate their foods. The people had to hang their food from the ceiling on a string for the fear of rats. People hung their babies' cradles from the ceiling because rats used to bite them as well. Now move to the text again. What are we going to do about the rats? Asked the worried townspeople. We can't go on living like this. We need a good rat catcher. The best in Europe, said the mayor. We will put up an advertisement in the town square. The townspeople were astonished. Astonished means surprised when they read the advertisement. Wanted expert rat catcher to kill all the rats in Hamelin must be free to start at once, and the reward was 1,000 guilders. Guilders is the name of the currency. 1,000 guilders, it takes me 5 years to earn 1,000, said the baker. But there are 10,000 people in the city. It's worth it, replied the butcher. The news traveled quickly across the country. One day a stranger walked into the square. He was wearing a grey and red cloak. Cloak is a kind of dress, and a brown pointed cap. If I destroy all your rats, how much will you pay me? He asked the mayor. 1,000 guilders, said the mayor, just as it says in the advertisement. Well, class 5, we have learned that mayor of the town suggested the people of the town that they should put up an advertisement in the town square for the rat catcher. So they posted advertisement, and it was showing a reward of 1,000 guilders for the rat catcher. One day a stranger walked into the square. He was wearing a strange dress. He was actually wearing a grey and red cloak and a brown pointed cap. When he entered the town, he took the challenge of killing all the rats. Well, we will read the text. The man stepped into the street and took a thin wooden pipe out of his pocket. He put it to his lips and started to play. While he was playing, he walked steadily down the street. A rat ran out of the house and started to follow him, and then another and another. All the rats were running out of the houses. There were young rats, old rats, grey rats, brown rats, huge rats, and tiny rats. Tiny means small. Old ones and babies, males and females, even a few white rats among them. People ran into the streets to watch, still playing. The piper walked out of the city and toward the river. As he reached the river bank, he changed his tune. The rats ran faster and jumped into the river. As they were all drowned, drowned means sunk into water. Not one was left behind. Well, in these lines, we have learned that the Pied Piper, when he entered the street, he took out a wooden pipe and he began to play some magical tune on his pipe, which made all the rats spellbound. So, one after the other, they came out and began to follow the piper. The Pied Piper walked out of the city toward the river. As the rats reached the bank of the river, the Pied Piper changed the tune. tune of his pipe, which made the rats even run faster, and they all jumped into the river. Not a single rat was left in the town. Well, the people of Hamelin were happy again. At once they started preparing a great feast. Notices were put up in the streets. Hamelin City feast, Saturday 2 p.m. in the square, all welcome. While they were cooking for the feast, the Pied Piper walked into the town hall. Now, will you give me my 1,000 guilders? Said the Pied Piper. I'd quite forgotten, said the mayor. 1,000 guilders is an awful lot of money. You promised me 1,000 guilders, said the Pied Piper. If you do not pay me, I shall take something else from this city. Here, take 50 guilders, said the mayor angrily. The rats that are dead can't come alive again. Take the money and go. So in this last part of the lesson, it tells us that people of the town were actually very happy on getting rid of the rats, so they started preparing for a grand feast. Meanwhile, Pied Piper walked into the town hall and asked for his reward, but Mayor was reluctant to give the money. Then Pied Piper said to the mayor that if he was not given the reward money, he will take something else from the city. Mayor asked him to take only 50 guilders and went away, because Mayor thought that the rats were dead and they would never come back again. So the lesson is done. Come to question number 3. It is question and answers. Here 8 questions are given, and you have to write down their answers. But before doing these questions, at the top we have one question. It is, what do you think happened in the story? So you have to write down the answer in your copies, and the answer of this question is, the city of Hamelin is infested with rats. They troubled everyone. So after doing this question, you have to do this question number 3, and in this way you have to do them one by one. So question number 1, how many rats were in Hamelin? The answer is, there were as many as 1 lakh rats in Hamelin. Second question is, where did people keep their food? They hung their food from the ceiling on a string. Question number 3, why did people hang their baby cradles from the ceiling? The answer is, people hung their baby cradles from the ceiling because the rats used to bite them. What did the butcher think of the reward? Answer is, he thought that the reward was proper as there were too many rats. Question 5. Why did rats follow the piper? The answer is, the piper was playing a tune on his pipe which made the rats spellbound, so they followed him. 6th number question. When did the rats start to run faster? The answer is, when the Pied Piper changed his tune, the rats began to run faster and jumped into the river. Question number 7. How many rats were there left at the end? Answer, not a single rat was left at the end. And the last question, who broke the promise? The answer is, the mayor broke his promise. Thank you.